Art room.
You guys know where I am. This is the front room.
Hi guys, I'm on Facebook too. If anybody's on.
We've taken over the center. Okay, here's Kara. We have to stay in different rooms though.
Stacy, can you go on Facebook on your phone or no?
I could try.
Cause my I'm looking, but I don't know if I see.
Hi, Kara.
Hey Kara.
Hi, guys.
Hi everybody.
Hi, everyone. Allison, do you think you're live now?
It says live, so I just want to make sure I am live.
Oh, yeah, live.
So hey guys on Facebook, if anyone's there, we're doing Facebook and Zoom, and you're right next to each other, so I don't think we'll have. Who's waiting? Jamie's waiting. I got Jamie. Hey Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. Is that who's with Dave? Is it Cheryl number 2? Yep.
Hi Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Are you making our project, Cheryl?
For Dave? No, we don't. That's okay.
It's all right. You look, and I want to show everyone what we're doing.
But you do have a DPU just to make me jealous at the start of the class.
Does everyone see the flag?
That's really nice.
What?
This is what we're making.
It's gonna look nice, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to start talking to you guys because we don't have that much time and we have some painting to do. Katie, are you painting?
Yeah.
TJ's coming on. So all we need is some red paint and blue paint and some white paint that we only need for a little tiny bit, because at the center, remember Katie, we're always out of white paint, still are.
I can testify because I'm using the very, very empty white one here, so we'll see if we can get it.
Hey TJ.
TJ, did you get a haircut? Yeah, looks great.
Very nice, guys.
Very nice.
Murphy says that they should be opening in the next few weeks.
Are you able to see everyone from the center on your screen?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Nothing, do your job.
So anyway, we can talk, but I want to start painting because I want for it to dry by the time we do our next step. So I have the flag that we printed out. And what we're doing today is more about the method than the actual drawing of the flag, because anybody could draw it, but I wanted to save a little time. And I found this, and this is the perfect size, actually, also, because it leaves a little bit, and you're not going to cut it up until the end, because that leaves room for mistakes. And this little extra strip on the side by the flag can be used to tape onto whatever you find. I just literally took tape I had from taking boxes and curved that little piece around. So anyway, worry about that later. But to start, everyone take their blue paint. Yep.
Everybody have blue?
And we only need a thin coat. So you need a little drop. And then the blue, everyone know where the blue goes?
In the stores.
Exactly. So we're not going to worry about covering the stars right now because we're going to do a different method for painting them in. So I want everyone to take their blue paint. I know on Facebook you could see me. Let me put this down a tiny bit. All I'm going to do is put a light coat on the part where the stars are.
So, Allison, are you covering the stars?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Covering the stars. If it's a thin, and don't worry about the lines because we're going to be cutting this out.
Hannah, beautiful job coloring.
Thank you, Stacy and Allison.
I'm not being neat or anything. The only place I'm being neat is around the right and the bottom edge.
You said to cover.
Cover the stars. Don't worry about the stars.
I don't want to be sneaking over your shoulder.
Because this is an unconventional way of doing things. Does everyone know what distressed means? Distressed or, rustic, or, you ever get jeans and they're distressed is when they're all like kind of soft and light color and worn in.
I have an idea.
What?
Does it make it look like it's been worn or
Yes.
older?
That's what distress is. So exactly. So this flag is really, the design of this is doing something that's not your typical perfect flag with the perfect stars. This is about doing something distressed. And the reason...
Screen with him.
No, Donnie. I got this.
The reason I like the distressed...
Like my craft project. Only that. Whatever you want to do is fine. Doesn't matter.
The reason I like distressed is I think... Yeah, Hannah, you have to be quiet. You can go on mute when you want to talk. You can take it off. Okay? So I didn't even do a neat job. I mean, I just quickly covered it up.
You get me back up. You get me back up. It went down. I accidentally dropped it.
Is everybody doing their blue area?
Thank you, City.
Katie, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm back, lady. It's all good.
Hey,
Are
Irma.
you back on?
Yeah. I had some difficulties today.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
How's Tyler?
She's doing good. Irma, are you able to see everyone on the screen and see the project?
Yeah. No, because her camera's
Hey,
off.
Sue. I see Sue Prefer. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hey.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay, so everyone, I don't want the background noise because I can't hear myself. So if you want to put yourselves on mute until you want to talk.
Until she's done.
Okay. So how are you doing? Did everyone do the blue yet?
I'm almost done.
Okay. I'm waiting for you, Katie.
I'm getting a tiny brush, so.
Yeah, and like I said, don't worry so much about being in the lines because that's the beauty of this project is we're doing something that's going to look worn and tattered and doesn't have to be perfect.
You know, Allison, when you held up the example, that flag reminded me of something that Francis Scott Key might have seen the night that he saw the battle at Fort McHenry.
Yes, I'm sure it was very tattered after the war, wouldn't you think, or during the war.
It really looks like something that could have inspired that.
So I like to do, some kind of a different, this is about doing a method more than doing, you know what realism is? Realism is when you painting a bowl of fruits. You ever see those paintings and it's supposed to be exactly like the fruit looks? We're not doing that. So we're doing something a little bit different. And then all we're going to do after the blue, and I know yours are numbered, and where the number ones are, which is every other stripe. Remember there are 13 stripes? So starting with the top, every other one, we're just going to paint red.
On the lines that have the one?
Yep. So it's starting with the top line, and then it's every other. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to have 7 lines all together that we're going to paint red.
I'm not.
So I'm going to start. Don't put too thick of a coat because we want it to dry.
That was a very good idea to number the rows.
Well, that's why I wanted you guys to have this printable because it just, we don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. This is just a nice, and again, I'm not worrying so much about the lines because we're going to be cutting this out after.
So you only paint the ones that say one?
Exactly, Katie. Because as you know, there's 13 stripes altogether, but every other one is white. So since the paper's white, we don't need to paint white. And also, we're going to be covering it up. So just, quickly paint the red. Doesn't have to be perfect. And don't put too much paint on, guys, because we want it to dry. And it really doesn't take that long to dry. If you just paint a thin coat.
I just love the way red paint looks. Does everyone else like red paint?
Yes, I love it.
It's just me. It's so pretty.
My kids painted the basement red at one point, but it's a little
Why?
disturbing. Why? Because they're crazy. Then we repainted over it.
Does anyone have an actual real flag at their house that they put out?
Oh.
Well, now I do.
I'm so excited to have one.
I am, and I really, at home, I'm going to try to look for something. If anybody has any bigger paper at home, I don't, but since I'm at the center, I might make one here. I have an extra.
You guys are lucky.
And don't forget, and I think everyone here was at,
No.
what's the matter?
I went into the wrong.
Don't worry, Katie, it doesn't matter. Don't worry, don't stress. Because we're going to be covering up every other line with newspaper, so we don't need to worry about exact lines.
Allison, how did you come up with the great idea of using newspaper?
I really was thinking of something. I wanted a distressed look. I wanted I call it rustic. Rustic, ever go to the rustic look like in a cabin? Some people might have it in their houses, a rustic look. My house is kind of mixed, but I was really thinking about all the lessons we learned about the flag. Ooh, very nice, Hannah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Do you hang that out on Memorial Day? Oh, Hannah muted herself.
So when this is mine. I'm just gonna go like this and let it dry a little. I mean, if anyone has a blow dryer in a cool setting, you could do that, but it doesn't really matter. You just don't want to get your hands in it for the next step.
Don't burn the paper.
So anyway, if anyone doesn't have to be on a stick, because you could put it right on your window. But does anyone remember I think everyone here was on our class yesterday, our lunch bunch. And what did we say about if you put a flag in a window or on your house without a flagpole? What are you supposed to do? Anyone remember from yesterday?
It has to be sideways.
Exactly. So it would be hung like this.
Excellent, Katie.
So if you're going to put this in your window, this is how it would be. Maybe TJ's father knows why.
I don't know what's that when I'm done, Mom.
So how's everyone doing here?
I'm slow and steady. I'm going along.
And while
you
you
guys,
paint,
you'll be able to put this out and the wreaths, and you'll be fully decorated for Memorial
That's
Day,
right.
which is this Monday.
and while you guys are painting,
That's also Victoria's birthday thing.
Victoria's?
really? I wonder why she's not on, Victoria. While you're painting, I just want to show you what we're going to use next. And if you don't get to do this step now, there's no problem in doing it later. We could just do one together. But I took newspaper and cut it up. And the smaller the little pieces, the better. And it takes a long time, so you could do it after. But I just tore up some pieces, put it in a little baggie, and then literally put my scissor in and just started chopping it up. So like I said, if you don't have time to do all this now, we'll do one line and I'll show you what we're doing, and you could always finish it later. So I'm just...
I thought that the newspaper made it look real Did you
Yeah,
like
I'm
the way the
really.
newspaper looked, Dave? Looked good, right? What about you, Alona? You think that looked good?
So we got the
Hannah, do
Facebook
you
people.
have your wreath with you? Hannah's muted.
Yeah, that's okay. How you doing, Katie?
I just finished.
Cool. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Katie, you're faster than me. As usual.
And we actually have plenty of time, but I just want to show you the method because it will take you a few minutes to cut up your newspaper.
That's the egg crate after this.
And when the blue dries, we're going to do that last. I'll show you what we're going to do there. Now, sometimes, like, I can barely see my stars through, but it doesn't matter because how many stars are there? Anybody remember?
Strips.
That's a tough question.
Anybody remember how many stars?
Good. Katie got it.
50.
Exactly.
Anybody remember what the stars were for? One for each what?
Steak.
Excellent.
And then the stripes are the
13 colonies.
colonies.
That's right. So, everyone have some newspaper?
I have magazines. Like,
It really could be anything. The only reason I like newspaper is it's a little bit on the white side. Well, not really white, but, you know, the appearance of white. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you guys don't want to do the newspaper, you could do glitter. You could do whatever you want. But the project is to do the newspaper. So, even if we do one stripe together, I'm going to show you what it looks like. And the process of doing this is very much like in the center when we use glitter. And that is, I'm going to take my Elmer's glue and I'm going to use it right from the tube because it's going to allow me to put a stripe. So I'm going to take the glue and I'm going to go along the first white line and I'm going to fill in the whole line. Try to be in the lines between the red. And I'm just going to put the nozzle right to the paper. Ooh, it opens.
oh god, I think I did it wrong.
No, you didn't do it.
I have red.
Why isn't this opening? Oh,
TJ, where'd you get that great haircut? You did it right.
Who cut your hair? Who cut your hair?
Excellent.
No, Erica didn't do it. Who cut your hair?
Julie.
No. She's naming all his barbershops. No. Mommy did. He
Why
did?
did they cut your
ah, that's why you have such a good haircut, see?
I'm gonna say it looks fantastic.
What's the C?
So I took my glue
What's the C?
and I held it along the line and I just filled in the white spot
You filled in the white spot with the glue.
with the glue. And then what I'm going to do is take now again, I had time to do this last night, so I'm taking, and just like we use sparkles, I'm literally going to put it right, not even neatly. I'm doing it all over, just like we do the sparkles, where it's going to stick to where the glue is, and then I'm going to knock it.
Allison, how small are your newspaper pieces?
Pretty little. The littler, the smaller the pieces are, the more it's going to stick right to the spot. Everyone see what I did?
Yeah.
Now, what I did yesterday before I figured out to do it so tiny, the reason is that this is a pretty small piece of paper. If you were working with a bigger piece of paper, we could have bigger. Now, don't worry about it, because if your pieces are too big, we literally, at the end, can take a scissor and give it a haircut. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you look at my example, the top, I used bigger pieces. By the bottom, I figured out, we really should do smaller pieces. So take your time. I'll give everyone a few minutes to, like I said, this is about learning the process, and even if you have to finish it later, that's fine. So again, I ripped them up, and then it's kind of easy if you put it in a little Ziploc, if you have one. Or you could just take in your hand and carefully chop, chop.
We have a Ziploc in the office. I'm gonna go.
So this is all I'm doing is, instead of cutting my fingers like I always do, I'm deciding to cut it in the bag. And the more you cut, the smaller the pieces are.
I have a question for the group. Do you guys like having like a common theme Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because me and Allison work together, or you like separate themes?
I like the fact that Friday is just book club and it's just one instructor reading because that's easier to focus on.
Yeah, you like book club.
Yeah.
I do too, because I really, really missed our book club. Does everybody on here come to book club? Yeah, book club is great.
But what about the question, Katie? So we're saying, like, you know how this week we came up with a theme, Memorial Day. So we learned about the flag, and we learned about Memorial Day, and now we're doing a Memorial Day project.
Yeah.
So do you like that, how that goes?
Yeah.
Because we really could do it with almost anything. And I think it ties everything together. And normally, I think a lot of the same people come on. So, and anybody that doesn't can go onto Facebook and see what we've done.
Dave said he likes having the common theme also.
Yeah, I think it brings like cohesiveness. Does everyone know what that means?
I really liked it too, and I felt like it worked so well for us as a group. And I felt like we have these projects that we can really, really use for something very specific to support the veterans.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, I'm working on my next thing, but it's a surprise. I'm not gonna tell you.
Uh-oh.
So Memorial Day, as Katie reminded us, is actually also the kickoff to summer.
Well, I don't know. Well, I think more and more things will open. We'll see.
Some people might be opening their pools.
I did.
I asked my dad to, but he has to fix it up because the walls, the top of the walls are all rusted from converting to salt water.
Oh, you did? You converted to saltwater. See, that's great because my pool really should have that, but I don't think we're going to spend the money yet. But that's all the new pools are saltwater now.
Salt water just makes you feel cleaner. Like you don't have to take a shower right after.
It probably makes you more buoyant too. Do you know that?
Well, I could definitely use to be a little more buoyant.
But the reason they go to saltwater, I believe, is it's less like I don't think you have to use the same kind of chemicals.
Right, you don't use all the chemicals.
How's everybody doing?
I'm good. I'm waiting for Mom. She's digging something.
Okay.
Looking for
I'm using the shells to glue on.
Very nice.
All right, no more picking.
That's
Can
a
I
great
see them,
idea.
Hannah?
Oh, how cute.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Hannah, you're so creative. And I know about your shells because I saw you. Do you remember?
I didn't want to do the newspaper.
Yeah, no, that's great. Listen.
I loved Hannah's wreath too because her work is so original.
Don't get wet.
The wreath was gorgeous. You know,
I want the sprinkles back. It's all right. We'll put more on it. I want more. I got on my flag.
that's okay, Hannah. You can fix it. It'll be okay.
Can I use tacky glue?
We did. Go ahead.
Yeah, any kind of glue.
You know, when Hannah showed me the shells, that reminded me of a fact that I didn't use. So when the first flag was actually commissioned, they were sending it with someone who was going to be going exploring, and they did make a payment on that first flag, and you know what the payment was? This is really interesting. 3 strands of wampum.
Of
Does
what?
anyone know what wampum is?
You know what? It's like American Indian.
Word.
Yeah, it's Native American money that was made of shells.
It's a funny word.
Wampum. And you know, in Park Ridge, New Jersey, they actually had a landmark where there was an original place where the Native Americans were making the wampum.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know, our area is very rich in
History.
actually, there's a great book. One of my favorite books ever was called Forever, actually. And Pete Hamill, who's an author who actually used to be a reporter, I believe. So he's very factual. And it's about a man who lives through centuries and centuries of time. And it all takes place in the New York City, Hudson Valley area. And it's really interesting because it goes into all the why things were named, like Nyack, and all the towns around where I live are all Indian named. So I did my second line, and now I'm tapping off my newspaper.
This is my
And see, it's not going to be perfect. I mean, some of mine is almost touching, but it doesn't matter because that's the look we want.
see.
Hi, TJ.
All right, he's leaving. He's going to
Okay.
therapy. He wants to say goodbye.
Bye,
Oh,
TJ.
Have a great time in therapy. Thank you for coming.
Have fun.
Bye, T. See you tomorrow.
Stacy, how are you doing on yours?
How am I doing? You're going to be shocked because
Ah,
progress.
beautiful. So that's basically what we're gonna do for each line. And like I said, if you're not gonna finish, if you don't want to finish now, it's perfectly fine to fill it in later.
You know, when I was a girl growing up in Montvale, I actually used to sometimes find the wampum because there was all woods by my house, and I've also found Native American arrowheads.
Really?
Yeah, because there were Native American people living in the woods in that area many, many years ago, and the woods just stayed basically untouched until they started developing.
Very cool. Oops. And this is also why you want your paint to dry before this step, because it might stick to the paint.
I had a little bit of that happening.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Because again, we're just going for a really rustic look. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we started talking about this earlier, but we never got a chance to finish. The reason I came up with this, to me, is that I thought that the tattered look to this is really kind of more what I think of when you think of Memorial Day and all the wars, that, you know, the flag was taken all over the place and probably got pretty tattered.
I was seeing if anyone was on the Facebook to say that we could say hi to.
Carrie Mitchell.
Oh, that's Will's sister. Will's
Hi.
on there. Hi, Will.
Hi, Will. This is what we're working on, hon. So I'm gonna keep working while we're chatting. Anybody,
More hair.
anyone have any plans this weekend? I know there's not much we could do, but
I am escaping and going down the shore.
oh, lucky you. I'm
Who you
jealous.
going with?
Mom and Dad.
Nice.
Very nice.
Don't know yet.
Supposed to be good weather.
It's for a drive on
Yes.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's nice.
A drive.
Just coming here today for me was great. I was like, wow, this is. Do you know when I got to the center this morning, I had to call Stacy because I forgot the code how to get in here. And I thought when
It's embedded in my brain.
you could see my memory isn't too great.
I come here every Monday and Thursday. So I don't know if I told you guys this. I actually went on a hike in Stoke State Forest the weekend that it opened, that the state forest opened. And you know what I saw?
What?
What?
I saw a bear.
You did?
Yeah.
There?
Oh my
Yes.
god.
And it was just like crawling along. And I thought that was so weird. weird because I don't know why, but I guess from watching TV, I thought bears walked on two legs. Thinking, why is that bear crawling through the woods?
I saw a bear yesterday too, Stacy.
You saw one too?
Yeah, Rambo Reservation.
Was yours crawling or standing?
Hey, Will, you have anything to ask me?
Of course. He was walking on his 4 legs.
Yeah, they walk on 4 legs, but you wouldn't know that.
I hope you're watching. I
You've
miss
seen them
you.
on television, and even in circuses, they don't walk on 4 legs. They walk on 2 legs.
I guess that's the trained bear.
Yeah.
Well, when all the movies, when you see them coming at you, they're definitely on 2 legs.
This bear didn't seem like it wanted to bother anybody. Just kind of.
You know, I think you told you, Stacy, but a couple of years ago, my sister, who works right in Montvale, was driving up Grand Avenue up the hill, and I was on the phone with her, and she goes, I just hit a bear. I'm like, what? There was a baby bear that came into the street.
Did she hit it?
She hit it by accident. I mean,
God.
but it got up and ran away. It wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe it. I'm like, a bear? What?
Well, that's right near my house, and this little
Yeah.
baby bear, a long time ago, used to come sit in the middle of the street at my
Oh
house.
my God. Also, guys, when I put the newspaper on, if you just lightly with your hands pat it, it will stick a little better.
Dave, fantastic, Allison.
What?
We've got some incredible artwork going on here.
Oh my God, let me
I
see.
love it. I love it.
Good job.
Ooh, that's a beautiful picture right there. Nice one. Hey, $1 million smile.
It's true.
I didn't know you were doing it, Cheryl. I wonder where Cheryl or other Cheryl is.
Sometimes I think she can't come on, she said, because it makes like a reverberation sound.
Yeah.
Because she has a different phone.
Oh, right. She has a Samsung.
Sometimes when I go on different webinars, I'll get a like a sound.
I have to tell you, I said I'm an ad for like Apple computers today. I have my Apple laptop, my iPad, my phone, and my watch all at the same time.
I'm very jealous over there.
Are you talking about our Cheryl?
Yeah.
Oh, she's always around, but her phone reverberates. So we have 2 computers going, and she talks to Kara on the other one.
Ah.
And that's what we were saying, because sometimes she comes on, but then she said she hears like a reverberation noise.
Yeah, there's a weird echo thing. So we got a weird thing going on here. So, and when I come to feed Kara, she takes off and goes and eats lunch. And she also has ambulance calls sometimes.
How's everyone doing?
They're doing good. So it's good to see you. Well, I'm feeding Kara. That's why we have the video on.
Hey, Kara.
She's done. So, but she's paying attention.
How you doing, Katie?
Yeah, your paint didn't dry, so a lot of your white is sticking to your red.
That's okay. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's why I said to put a light coat of paint. But you know what? You can print out another. You can print out another copy and always do it over if you want. But it doesn't matter. If you look at mine, it's pretty close together. You can't get it It's not supposed to be perfect.
Mine's not perfect either.
That is
but-
the project, by the way, guys. It's not supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, now you can see the right?
Yeah.
There, right?
And maybe if everyone.
Slide it over.
That was good.
Yeah, the next one.
How many do you have, Katie?
I did 2 so far.
So you know what I want you to do? Kind of
What?
stop. Just take a break. Because I want to, while we still have time, I want to show you what we're going to do with the stars.
Okay.
And then we can always go back to. So does everybody have a Q-tip?
Oh, Nicole's here.
I'll go get a Q-tip.
Does everybody have a Q-tip?
Oh, no, it's Terrence. Hi, Terrence.
Hi, Terrence. You see what we're making? So it's going to be on Facebook, so you can watch later if you want to make one, okay? So does everybody have some? We need white paint, and we need a Q-tip. And if you don't have a Q-tip, don't worry. You can use a paintbrush, a little paintbrush. So I'm gonna.
Let's see if I can get. Does that say Happy Memorial Day on the bottom? That's fantastic. I love it.
Great.
Great job, you guys.
So I'm gonna take a drop of white paint.
You guys, we are still celebrating and honoring the vets. I'm very proud of everybody.
This is all I got. Is one little squirt
What
left.
is that today?
You got a hat, Terrence?
Camouflage.
Nice.
I'm wearing it outside today.
Good for you. Everyone should be outside today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice day.
Oh, there you are, Irma. Okay, so
Irma,
do you
I
ha-
think your camera's off. Do you want to turn it on, or it's okay like that?
Katie, you have your white paint?
Let me go say.
Okay, so it's depending on your blue paint. You might be able to see the stars through. I can't see it on mine. So what we're gonna do is there's 50 stars, right? So it doesn't really matter, where they are, because it's not going to be, if you look at mine, it's not perfect whatsoever. But if you want to,
Excuse me.
if you do 3, 4, 5, if you do 6 across on top, and then if you do 5 across under it, then that starts the pattern. So I'm just dipping my Q-tip into the paint.
I have no idea how to do this.
Irma, can you see us, or you can't?
I'm trying to figure out how to do the camera thing on here. Hold on.
So if you see what I did, I counted 6 across on top.
Ready?
Everyone seeing this?
Yeah, come around this way.
Is it a pattern 6, 5, 6?
Yes. So I'm just showing everyone. So if you do 6 across on top, Katie,
Yeah.
look at me.
I want to put it on my table.
So if you do 6 dots across the top, and underneath the 6, you could do 5, which means that in between, if you look. And then you're just going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, I think. If anyone
Now
can
we
see.
see Irma. Irma, can you see us now?
Yeah, now.
Oh, good.
Hi, Irma.
Glad.
I just have an iPad and it's the first time I'm using one. Hey, Ted. How are you?
Doing good, you?
I'm good.
Irma, I made everyone so happy to see you because we haven't seen you. We missed you.
Oh. You guys don't know.
It's so nice to see everybody, right?
Yeah.
Nathan says hi, Irma.
Oh, did you hear that, Irma?
Huh?
Dave Finn says hi to you, Irma.
So if you look, I just literally took the Q-tip and again, it doesn't have to be neat, because the whole point of this is to look weathered. We want a weathered look.
It honestly reminds me of the song of the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, I love it.
It looks like it could be up there in the rocket's red glare with the bombs bursting in air.
Yeah.
Hi, Jamie.
How's everybody doing?
Jamie, you look beautiful today.
Hannah, what are you doing? Let me see yours.
You gotta focus on me, not focus on I said I couldn't fit 50, so I did like 30.
Don't worry about it. It's just listen, it's not, no one's going to sit there and count them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just the look of it. And also you could always print out more paper or make your own flag or do bigger. I was trying to figure out a way to this be waterproof for outside, but we don't have those kind of materials. So I was looking for a plank of wood to do it on at home. So I might do
It would
that.
be incredibly cool if we, for a later time, if we had wood, I could probably get my husband to make us all wood planks.
What you guys are gonna still work, and I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing to finish this. Cause I'm just gonna cut along the line.
Make sure that you have 50 stars. We're counting them all.
No!
The magnifying glass.
So I cut the bottom piece off, and we're gonna cut all three sides except for this, except for the white part next to the star. And no one, if you're not done with yours, do not cut it yet because you want to wait till you're done. I'm just doing it to show you.
So Allison, you said cut the long sides.
You cut all the sides except for the strip to the left.
The back. Okay.
But if you're not done doing yours, don't cut it yet because
Finish the white.
Yeah, I'm cutting the lights.
I know, but I actually ready.
and this is a little wet. If I was you at home, I would wait till everything dries. I'm just trying to show you what I did. So right now, I cut it out. Does everyone see? But again, at home, wait till it dries. It's much easier. I just wanted to show you what I did at home. So basically, now you have this little white part. And don't do what I'm doing when my hands are filthy. But I'm just going to kind of bend this strip over.
Joey, leave.
Mine's still wet. But I'm just bending this little piece over. And then what I'm going to do is, what I did was I got a stick from outside. But you might have a skewer at home or anything like that. And all I did was literally wrap it around the stick and put a piece of tape on the bow. So
Maybe even a pencil if someone had
a pencil, anything that can stick into the ground.
Yeah.
But mine's still wet. So at home when I did it, I let this all dry because it's very hard to work with a goopy, wet piece of paper. And I'm very excited. Now I have 2 flags to put outside.
Alona, what do you think? You like the flag project?
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's
well,
your eyebrows.
Nice to see you, Alona.
I'm gonna work on the egg plate.
Oh, Alona, beautiful job. Look, Alona has one.
Let me see.
I think Dave
I'd rather do this one.
you.
Oh my god, that's great.
I'd rather do that one.
If so, I'm going to be so happy.
With the round stars. You see that, Allison?
Yes.
I might do that one.
Oh, I love that.
That's the best of both flags.
And you know what I also saw? I saw a heart-shaped flag, which was cool.
That's a good flag to do.
Work on the egg plate on Saturday.
Oh, Will said, what color was the bear?
Black. It was a black
It was a
bear.
black bear, Will.
Yeah.
I think that's what we have around here, right?
Yeah,
Is
and
it
I was
black?
in Stoke State Forest, which is down in Branchville, New Jersey, actually where Tala goes to the camp.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you where that is.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
Where
They
is-
have a lot of cool things
Where
there.
is Branchville? How do you get there?
You take Route 80
Oh,
to
80.
exit 34B, and you go past Sparta down to Route 206.
Yes, yeah.
You just go right into this park.
Jessica used to go to camp down there.
Yeah, thousands of acres, and it's actually part of the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, you know, you could walk. I used to go up to Bear Mountain and walk on that trail.
You can identify people that are walking the Appalachian Trail because their hair and beards are very long, and they have like
Big backpacks that have like those giant backpacks.
Yep.
Well, did anyone, what was the book about the woman, the true story, who decided to walk the trail?
Oh, that was a movie too. with
Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon.
It was wild.
Do you want it just to
Yeah. No.
It was the Pacific Crest Trail.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that was Pacific. That's right. You're right.
Which
Well,
they
when
say
I went on the Appalachian Trail. Sorry, Stacey. When I went on the Appalachian Trail hiking, this was years ago, but We saw a big snake. That scared me right away.
Oh.
Although we have them all over the place. Does anybody watch Naked and Afraid?
I'm not a fan of snakes. I
No.
just don't like the look of them.
I watched this show Naked and Afraid. It's like kind of like Survivor.
Allison, my dad does in the basement, and my mom and I watch in the living room at night, and he's always got that blasting.
Oh, you know, I love it because it really, I would never, that's great, Alona.
Beautiful, everybody.
I love it. I like, Jessica, my daughter turned me onto it, but I can't even imagine, like I came out of the shower the other day, and obviously you're naked, and I just thought to myself right away, I can't imagine walking outside right now and being naked in the woods, and I can't imagine these people are dropped off in the middle of nowhere, and it's just way scary to me, way scary. I wouldn't make it through the first couple of hours.
Definitely not for me,
No.
but
I like glamping.
glamping. Yeah.
Glamping. It means staying in a motel.
What was the movie we saw?
Oh, it was one of the Hallmark
About
movies. They were glamping.
About
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
It was a Hallmark movie, one of those Hallmark
Oh.
movies. It was about glamping. She had the best tent.
Oh.
Tent.
I forget the
Couches in
name of
them
it.
and these beautiful air conditioners and.
Oh no, I just need like a motel, a cheap motel. Well, when I was young, my father was not handy, let's put it that way. And we decided, my mother convinced him that we're going to go camping, and I have two sisters, and it was a nightmare, let's just put it that way. So my father spent all this money on sleeping bags and a tent and blah, 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 and we get there and it's pouring rain, pouring.
Well,
And
that makes it hard.
the tent leaked, and I was a little girl, and I got the highest fever I think I've ever gotten. We were just talking about that to my mom the other day because I just remember feeling really sick. And I remember going out to pee in the middle of the night, and I tripped over a stake in the mud, and it was just, my father said, never again.
I'm not a camper, but everyone else in my family loves to camp.
I wish I would go with someone that knew what they were doing, and I think it would be fun. Oh, Alona, that's so cute.
Oh, Dave is doing his wreath. I love it. We'd have to get all pictures of everything. Alona put her flag up on a stick. It was amazing.
See, I'm waving it too. What's all the songs?
When we went on the Appalachian Trail, I guess it was 2 summers ago, the people from Center Work will remember when I went down south, we went up to the highest point on the trail, which is Clingman's Dome, and it's like a walk straight up this mountain. And I didn't even know if I was going to make it. I was like, oh, wow.
See, Stacy, I like climbing up. It's getting down that scares me more, believe it or not.
Well, the down was easier, but there was like a steep incline. The Clingman's Dome, and then when you get to the top, someone built this giant thing. It looks like a UFO, and you can climb up there, and the view is amazing. It's like unbelievable.
Has anybody gone to the national park? Did you ever go to Yosemite?
No, but I want to.
That was really, I have to say, my favorite vacation, and it was all hiking, and my kids were pretty young. I can't believe they made it every day, and we really hiked some really scary places that if it were to be rainy season, which it wasn't, it was nice and dry, people have died walking up that one area, but because it's very narrow and it gets wet. But it was great. I just love being active, and I'll never forget we were riding bikes and we saw I think it was a fox or a coyote, and my kids were freaking out at the time. I'm like, don't worry, it doesn't want to bother you. Although, you know, now that...
I have to get the pictures that Griffin took, because when he went cross country, and all these like buffalo are all around him.
Yeah, you said that. I remember
And he said he was kind of scared.
Yeah.
And he was alone. He just put a tent. He just went from here to California back with nothing, just by himself.
Did I hear you saw buffalo?
Yeah, he saw these buffalo, but I think he was afraid.
Hey, Jamie. Can you give me a smile?
Who else is holding a? Oh, that's Katie. Katie, let's see your flag.
I've been
I'm
with
spilling the paper off.
Very nice,
flag
Katie.
coming, Hannah.
Say it again. It's coming along pretty well. Can I have my space?
Are you using the shells still?
I am still using them.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to see that.
Hannah, you have like a.
The stars.
Hannah has a huge supply. Oh, hi, Jamie. That's so cute.
Debbie's got hers.
Hey, Jamie.
They're pretty.
I feel like I'm on the moon.
I like that. Very nice. Very nice. About it. Don't help me. No mommy.
Hey, Stacy.
Mommy.
On the way out, Stacy, you can go get yourself a stick outside.
Mommy.
Yeah, I can go find a stick next to the center.
Their flag. I forgot mommy. Let's go.
I can't wait to put mine on the stick.
Daisy,
Put something in the front.
today would have been among the hidden.
I dropped the pen too.
It's
I
Thursday.
know. I'm not gonna read ahead. I'm gonna wait till we're all together.
I'm excited to see what happens with the Beetle Boy.
I love Beetle Boy.
Oh, that's nice.
Reed, that's gorgeous. I love it.
Alright,
Thank
that's
you
cool.
for your service.
Try not to move it, okay?
You guys, so much creativity today.
And it's so, I don't know about you guys, but when it's nice outside, I'm in a good mood always. It's
Dave,
just...
I'm digging the close up. I love your smile. Amy's waving hers.
Hi, Sue. Are you still on?
Oh, Katie, beautiful.
There it is.
Very nice.
Good, Katie.
Perfect, Katie.
That is gorgeous.
Now
Is everybody gonna put them outside in front of their house on Memorial Day?
Let's pray for not rain, because mine might drip. But if I have to, I'll put it in the window.
Is it supposed to rain or be nice?
Oh, I think it's supposed to be nice. I think.
Sunday and Monday are nice.
Now, just to start, you know.
Yeah, you can put it out now.
Yeah.
Get the vibe going.
I actually like, there's a place right by my mailbox that has dirt that people are always putting flags up there, like, you know, a realtor or somebody else. I think that's a good spot.
I think so too.
So
Yeah,
everyone,
our flag up.
does everyone like this project?
It's very nice.
I do.
You do? Great.
It's
I love it.
How about you, Katie?
69 degrees, man.
Katie's still doing the weather.
Trying to tell you when Alona was in California, we went to a place called Muir Woods.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and all these huge tall trees. Remember that one?
Did you go through the one you can drive a car through?
No, we walked through and they gave some information. He said they actually put forest fires up to protect the area. I was like, what? That's
Yeah, I forgot what that's called, but they burn out certain areas so it can't
Yeah.
catch on
I
fire.
learned about that. It's called a controlled burn because they don't want dead debris to build up and then have a forest fire.
Yeah, and as you guys know, California has a lot of
Yeah, a lot of them.
fire problems.
Unbelievable.
They do have some big trees. Alona, you must have loved that.
Yeah.
And then another time her dad took her into the woods just to look around with her family. So that was interesting. And her mom brought some sandwiches and stuff, right? That's awesome. Like a
Very
picnic.
nice.
Can you hear us?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
we hear you. I think my Facebook people could probably hear
Oh, okay.
what we're
She's
saying.
She's trying to write something. She's writing about the skills next. The skills class next?
Is that 12:30? No, this is 12:30. It's 2:30. Oh, at 1:30.
Is that
Yes,
1:30?
30.
Probably means we have to.
Oh, we have to say goodbye, guys, because
Yeah.
Deborah needs the screen.
All right.
You want to do our goodbyes?
But anyway, wait, I want to tell you something. I want everyone to send pictures of their flag to Deborah, okay?
And your wreaths.
And even if you want to take a picture-
We're doing it towards that, but we will send it.
Yeah. And if anyone wants to even send a picture outside once you put it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
But it was really fun, and it's fun for us to be at the center, I have to tell you. I feel
Yeah,
good.
that was funny.
I feel like I'm home. But bye, Terrence and Jamie and Dave and Alona, Katie.
Can we stay on Zoom?
You want to stay? I don't.
Bye, Jamie.
I think you have to come off.
Oh, you
I
have
don't know. I think I keep.
No.
I think
Eileen,
you have to sign off.
you can stay on.
Yeah. We stayed on a few times.
You did, even though we're not the hosts.
Correct, we did. We stayed on.
Okay.
Okay, we weren't sure. She just asked me that, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think Deborah's on, so we might have to sign off.
Okay, bye guys.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Bye. We'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.
It was fun. Hi, my guys on Facebook. Hope you have fun.